Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. Real Late Hot 97. My name is Peter Rosenberg. DC stand up. My man Black Cobain is in the building.
Yep.
Where are you from in DC?
I'm from Alexandria, Virginia.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm from right across the bridge. You know what I'm saying? It's all the same thing. It's all love.
I mean, kinda. You know, we do look down our nose in Maryland, you know, because DC is good with everyone. DC is good with Virginia, DC is good with Maryland.
Yeah.
See, us in Maryland, we do like to look down our nose at Virginia.
Yeah. A lot of people like to do that.
We do that. But, you know, Alexandria's a little bit too far from my house. That's my biggest problem I have with y'all. If y'all could just move it closer. Because I can't go through the city. I have to go through the city to get to Alexandria. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Expensive as fuck, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's turned up on them prices out there. That's why people stay away from that.
Yeah. So you're from Alexandria. You've been rolling with Wale for a minute.
Yeah.
Are you still rolling with Wale?
Yeah, that's the homie.
That's the homie, but he's not a part of this most recent project.
And that's on purpose.
That is on purpose. You're separating your own.
I just in this game, when you come in with an artist, people always attach you to that. And right now, I feel like with this mixtape and how we put it together, I feel like it can be the one where people are just like, that's Black Cobain. Because you always hear, oh, that's Wale, that's Black Cobain, that's Wale's artist, or something like that. And with not putting him on the mixtape and still getting that support, I think we can separate ourselves into having that own entity. It's just being Black Cobain, and that's it. That's all I want to hear.
How did the hip hop thing for you start?
The hip-hop thing started for me just being a fan of it. You know what I'm saying? Listening to New York rap early, I was a big fan, huge fan of Biggie. Like, that's all I used to listen to back in the day. Like, my favorite song was, It Was All a Dream. I used to read Word Up. Like, I listened to that song every day. Like, I had the single and all that shit. So that was, like, my start right there. And, like, when I was in school, I used to just stay to myself and write in my notebook and write raps. I wasn't even paying attention in school, so... That's how. So
you became that kid.
Yeah, I became that kid who had the notebooks, but was scared to rap in front of people. Kind of kept it to myself. But then as I got older, I started to flourish and public speaking and shit like that, and getting in front of people and really getting out there and making some noise. So once we started doing that, there was no looking back.
And DC is an interesting city. I always tell people that about, like, as far as the relationship with hip hop.
Right.
You know, there isn't a great rich hip hop history as far as artists who made the music there. It's always been a popular destination. You have Howard Homecoming, but and don't get me wrong, rapping is a part of go-go.
Definitely is.
But as a result of go-go existing, and now I'm starting to kind of really try to look back and enjoy that culture for its own thing, because for a while I had a bit of a resentment towards it as a hip hop fan because it splintered off where the listenership for hip-hop would be.
Yeah, in that area, and that's what it did.
Right? And as a result, there was never really a big hip-hop movement, because how could there be when you already had this vibrant go-go culture?
And it was going, and I think that's what makes that area so special, because it's all about the culture. So even though that rap is still brand new, we have a culture that we can offer to the game, and it's nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? So for all the artists who's putting on and doing it right now, and Wale being one of the elite rappers from our area, it all works because we're offering something new to the game. And go-go's still there. People still love go-go's. Like, they sold out every night. Backyard play 4 times a week. TCB playing.
It never stops.
You know what I'm saying? Don't stop. So it's
last time I was in College Park recently over at C Depot, and I'm sitting there and I'm always watching what people are doing in stores. I'm buying old records and stuff,
right.
But see this dude come up to the counter, and sure enough, he's getting a REPA tape from May 2013. I'm like, damn,
it still lives. Like, people, like the people I hang around, they still go to go-go's. Like,
now, for you, are you like me? I was someone who growing up liked certain go-go records,
right.
Always respected the culture, but because I was a hip hop head, I wasn't as tuned into it. It was part of my life. It was my background, but I was very focused on rap.
See, I wasn't a huge hip hop head back then. I listened to like a lot of down south artists, the 3 6 Mafias, Pimp C, Project Pat, and all that. So I wasn't really into lyrics. I was really into music. And in that area where you grew up, it was all about go-go. So I was in tune to that.
And that fit a little bit better. Southern stuff fit a little bit better with the vibe of go-go than a lot of northern hip-hop records.
Because we brought all those artists to our area. Like, the number one rapper in our area for a long time was Scarface. Like,
Yeah.
and he was always in the city. He was always at the Go-Go's, you know what I'm saying? And when I was growing up, we used to listen to a band called Northeast Groove.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? So we was in the Icebox real heavy, you know what I'm saying? That was the VA band right there for real, like hot.
So who? Northeast Groovers?
Groovers.
Really?
I
They had some
swear.
VA roots?
I mean, they had VA roots because they was always in VA. Like
Yo.
in the projects where we grew up at.
Let's we're having some good old DC talk. I want to ask you about this flyer, which is very interesting. All right, so there's the flyer. Now, it's you rolling a joint on Bible paper.
Right.
All right. Then there's what looks to be a white or Latin chick curled up with a panda bear, which is very LRG, who's a sponsor here. That makes sense, the pandas. Then the other chick looks to be a version of Rosa Acosta smoking a cigarette, and you can only see a little bit. What do you say?
She turned up.
She's turned up, but looks to be. Well, first of all, her hand's in your crotch. Second of all, she looks to have what looks like a swastika on her arm. Can
Yes,
you
she
explain this?
That right there was from my homie Kevin Delaney. So we was my man Reek came up with the whole concept for the cover. So he was just like, let's just put everything on there that'll like contradict itself. So the first thought we had was to roll up on the Bible. And I was like, cool, that sounds dope. But then we need something else that's just gonna throw it out there and be so disrespectful. Now we all know how like the Nazis ran that thing, like so in my eyes, I wanted to put that, when he first put it on there, I was like, whoa, that's too much. We cannot do that. Like, that's going to turn heads and people. But he was like, yeah, it's just so disrespectful. And when will you ever mess with a German girl that, you know what I mean? And I was like, never.
Right.
I was like, never. So let's put her in the bed right now.
But the weird thing, and the interesting thing is she doesn't look German.
Yeah,
she looks
doesn't
Latin.
look German. So that's the whole contradiction.
Right.
Everything on this is a perfect contradiction. And even my name, Black Cobain, that's the contradiction.
Right.
So I think it just all fits and it all tells a story. It gives me the platform to be able to say whatever the fuck I want. Because sometimes I wake up and I feel like, man, damn, I'm never going to do this again. Then next week I'm back in the club drinking and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that.
You love the contradiction. We all do. A lot of people
Everybody loves the contradiction. Like, if you ain't contradicting yourself, you're not really
human.
living. You're not human. You know what I'm
saying? As far as musically, what do we have production wise on this, and who do you feature on the tape? You said you did not feature Wale on here.
Yeah.
Specifically, want to step out on your own. So who did you put on here?
we got some songs with Wale in the tuck that'll probably surface in a few, but I got the homie Casey Veggies on there. He heavy on the West Coast, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real good homie of mine. Every time I go out there, we touch down, make music, kick it, and all that. I got Fat Trail on there. We
more DC?
Yeah. We recorded a record called Turn Up. We was in Denver. We was on the promo run for The Gifted, and we was out there and we was talking about the basketball housewives. And this was at the time when like everybody was going on Drea on Twitter for some reason.
I remember that day.
You know what I'm saying? They was like, oh, you don't take care of your kids, this, that, and the third, and that was the topic of conversation. So we just flipped it and turned it into a song. Like, you know what I'm saying? You in the club and you turn up, but you don't take care of your kids and all that. So that song right there with Trail, that's one of my favorite. Then I got one of my homies called Tokyo Damo. His name's Tokyo Damo. He's from DC too. He's a newer artist that like I kind of got attracted to. He's like awesome. So he's on the record called Quiet Time. And the production, we got Tone P on there. He from DC.
Mm-hmm.
He got that DC sound on there. Who else? JS Osinachi. He did Nike boots. And my man Wonka. He's a new producer from DC. So, you know, I reach out to people who want to work me. And my man Cardo's on there too. Cardo's on there.
What about? Were you actually a Nirvana fan? What do you have? Like, what's your relationship with Kurt Cobain's music?
I am a Nirvana fan. Like, I was introduced to that culture of music early on in my life. I had an uncle, very interesting uncle. In the area we grew up in, like, you could never imagine anyone listening to rock and roll. He went to a real diverse high school, so he was growing up with like black people and white people, and at that time he was like on some different shit. He was listening to rock and roll, and he introduced me to Nirvana in like 7th grade, and I always was listening to this Smells Like Teen Spirit record, and I was like, yo, what is this, and why do I like it, and what type of music is that? And ever since then I've just been a fan of like the honesty of Kurt Cobain and what he stood for and just that whole culture. So I just thought it was like the perfect thing to like bring to the game, something new, like a young black kid coming up in the ghetto who knows about rock and roll, and shifting both of those cultures together. You know what I'm saying? I get some flack for it, but that's all good. I expected that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I see it. I see it as cool homage. You're definitely gonna get your flack, of course.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
But where can people find you on Twitter and all that stuff too?
Man, y'all can find me on Twitter at Black Cobain. You can find me on Instagram at Black Cobain. I'm on Facebook at Black Cobain. Everything is mine. BlackCobain.com. You can find me on that, man. And the mixtape is out. Perfect Contradiction on livemixtapes.com. Board Administration, LRG.
Yeah, boom. Shout out to Board Administration. Shout out to LRG. Shout out Team Demo.
Yes, sir.
Black Cobain. Perfect Contradiction. DC, my guy. You know I got your back up here.
I appreciate you.
We're going to make some more moves.
I got a lot of good music on there. I'm getting a lot of good responses. The Twitter's going crazy. Pusha tweeted it out. My man Styley, Casey Veggies, Angela Yee, just everybody.
So people are starting to figure it out.
Yeah, people starting to figure it out. So all we got to do is stay in tune, keep grinding, and we're going to, be in a position where we can eat in this game.
You already know. Black Cobain, my guy, man. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Raiders suck, but it's all good.